With participation, I think we have 5 people. Ms. Huskins, I know we normally do 15 minutes. If we could do 3 to 4 minutes for each person. And those that are speaking, if you'll stay within that time frame, please. And if you start to overrun, I'll very kindly tell you time's up. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and board members, our first speaker this evening is Gail Englehart.
Good evening. How are you tonight?
Good evening.
I actually come here with a very saddened heart. I got the letter from Superintendent John Harper telling me that the decision that the board has made, or the consensus that you have come to, is to again consult legal counsel if there should be a vacancy on the board come up. And just because the judge who was on the case that was filed previously has not ruled as yet, it doesn't make the law any less legal. And I don't understand why the board will not just follow the rule of law. There is as you know, HB 623 was enacted in 2003, and it is a Georgia law, 2003, page 3705 of the Georgia law books. It's never been altered, never been changed, and it still applies to the Bartow Board of Education. So, I am here to tell you that I have consulted with the governor's office. It is under his jurisdiction to enforce the Georgia laws under Article 3 of the Georgia Constitution. I have several legislators that are working with me, and that to get an answer for you, and that and to reinforce the matter of the board following the rule of law. If you do not, you do it at your own peril. And I make a recommendation to you that whatever your legal counsel tells you, get it from him in writing. Because if he doesn't want to put it into writing, then there's something seriously wrong with his advice. And he can be brought up on ethic charges with the state bar if he has violated the ethics rules.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that we're getting over
Yes,
these two
yes.
things that are prohibited from being talked about.
Ms. Englehart, if you'll refrain from talking about individuals and state your facts, please. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
Good job. Mr. Chairman, our next speaker is Mr. Todd Barnett.
I want to take this time to talk about board ethics. Number one on the board policy concerning personnel records, it states that personnel records kept by each principal shall be kept confidential with access only to those officials who need to know the contents in an official capacity. The records may be reviewed annually by the principal with the individual employee of the school. Nowhere in the board policy, nowhere does it state that personal discipline or records to be discussed in an open meeting. Also, when this board goes into executive session, you sign an affidavit to show that you've been there at the meeting, and it's not in violation of the Open Meetings Act. From signing that form, you're saying you abide by the Open Meetings Act. What's the penalty for violating the Open Meetings Act? Example, like discussing names, disciplinary actions, so forth. It says it's a misdemeanor punishable by $500 fine for any person to participate in a meeting that violates the GOMA. If the executive session affidavit contains false information, the presiding officer may be convicted of a felony punishable by 1 to 5 years with $1,000 fines. Also, violation of the GOMA may be grounds for recall. I pointed this out to talk about the Georgia Open Meetings Act, OCGA 5014-3-6. The FAQ concerning this says, can an employee discipline hearing be conducted in an executive session? The answer is no. While the board may be discussed and deliberate on disciplinary matters in a closed meeting, arguments and evidence regarding disciplinary action proposed or taken against an employee must occur at an open meeting. In the same manner, any vote on employee discipline must be taken in a public recorded in the meeting. I believe the statement in the last meeting was habitually out of the classroom, non-productive teacher. That's okay, right? I use the name, not doing the job. As I stated back to you in May, instead of taking a vindictive person's statements and trying to purely retaliate against others, models of evidence not used or allowed to be given at a public meeting where you clearly violated the Georgia Open Meetings Act. And while I got a second, when we can bring people up here, I'm gonna take a second and just say I'm proud of my wife and the job she did last year. Receiving excellent marks on her files and her paperwork for RTI, SST paperwork in central office. Was one of the key writers in the Striding Readers grant that y'all seen up here, where you spend that money buying all these computers. At a request of central office, she attended the Learning Forward Georgia Conference, then presented when to place students in RTI and received excellent marks in the presentation. Coordinated fellow teachers that presented at the Blue Ribbon School Conference, you, Mr. Harper, come by our classroom and so proud of her. She found during her attendance this past RAVO and training this past month, she completed with her students twice the amount of sections of any other teacher in the county. Those are facts. Those aren't rumors. That's what a person ought to be judged on.
Mr. Chairman, board members, Ms. Kim Wagner wants to address the board.
Good evening, my name is Kim. That's a tough follow. A lot was on my mind about the same thing as I want to talk about last week. Before I came to this meeting, I wrote up bullets that I wanted to put in, and I went on Georgia K through 12, looked at what the laws were for me to participate. And I had names on there because I'd read in the paper, read on text messages, and I redacted. Took those names out because it's not allowed by the rules of this board and this organization. Last week, after a few people that had issues with tax dollars, how they were being spent, got twisted around and somehow Chris and Excel got the wrong end of the deal. It wasn't about them. It was about laws. It's about laws. It's about the rules. I was appalled, and in the back, and if anybody was here, saw me with my hand up, trying to stop a board member from breaking y'all's rules. Your own rules. I come in here, I don't use anybody's name, because it says not to. So I do the right thing, get somebody that's on the board, that I'm going to stick with the rules and not use a name, broke those rules. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be a Georgia resident in Bartow County because of certain board members. These are representing my child, who is also with me, that is a special needs child. To hear the words that were in the text and then to try the cover-ups. I too have been on the phone with Gingrich, John Barge, our governor. And let me tell you, it's not over. I have proof of other issues that I will be taking. The day after, when I saw the paper, that it's all about the children. Well, attorneys have advised me, that is very famous Georgia rules. It's all for the children. Well, I really enjoyed this PowerPoint that the kids did. My grandson's in 7th grade, doesn't know what PowerPoint is in the state of Georgia. But you're risking all the money that our children need from lawsuits. I pay property taxes My child goes to Bartow County School and deserves to have a board member that does not use foul language, start this meeting in a prayer by using God and God's will, and then oust somebody and publicly humiliate them. Disgusted me. 2, I've talked to a lot of professionals in this town. Teachers, principals, any employee of Bartow County is afraid to come here. They're afraid to stick up for their children in their classroom. The good teachers, the principals, are being ousted, and the bad ones are being promoted. Every politician runs on education, yet nothing gets done. It starts in our county. We rank low in education. This board, you need to start educating our children, stop the politics as usual, the same old, and take care of our children and do the right thing. The news headline last week should have been, which floored me, the most honest thing I have seen in my life. And I'm a grandmother. I'm not 25.
I'm sorry, your 4 minutes is up. If you'd close, please.
I will close, and I will close with this. That I would like to take the suggestion of a board member, and you'll all take lie detector tests. That should have been the headline. As well as someone, the person that humiliated the last week and with other stuff, step down and resign and do the right thing.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, our next person who'd like to address the board is Ms. Kelly Whitmire.
Nobody knows the taxpayer.
Hey.
2 weeks ago, I came and spoke and gave you guys an update on the empty bowls that was happening in the last, it was 2 Sundays ago now. I just wanted to come back and address the board and let you guys know that the event was very successful. We raised $10,660, which will go towards the Backpack Buddies program and providing weekend food for children in the county. Also, just wanted to address the board, we also have the Least of These fund here, which is a fund that we're able to provide clothing, lodging for families in an emergency, and just meet some other needs of children. And we will be having a fundraiser on March 2nd, Cartersville Dances with the Stars. That's going to be in conjunction with the Good Neighbor Homeless Shelter. Apparently Miss Wanda is dancing. It's going to be in conjunction with Good Neighbor Homeless Shelter and the city school system. It's still in the planning process right now, but in the next month or so, you should hear a lot of publicity come out about who the celebrities are going to be. But it should be a great time. We encourage everybody to come out. It's kind of all of the agencies in the county that touch homeless folks coming together to raise funds for our different projects.
Thank you.
Ms. Whitmire, thank you for all you did for our children with the empty bowls. Appreciate that. Next person that would like to address the board members is Mr. Eddie Wan.
How are you, sir? How are you?
Good evening.
Yes. My name is Mr. Eddie from Once Taekwondo Education. Our school teaches martial art, not fighting, martial art. Okay, I'm here to introducing World Kids program, which is a benefit for the kids and also a benefit for the school. First, what's the benefit for the kid is our instructor masters will go to each school of Bartow County and teaching them respect, focus, cooperation, self-control, responsibility, and perseverance, which is really important just to learning math, English, history, which is other than that, we're teaching them how to do medical training with the character building. And this how beneficial for the Bartow County schools is fundraising, which is school can ask parents send a letter, which is cost about some of the schools charge between $25 to $30 to have this class in there, have their children in the class for the after school, and that check or money goes straight to the school, and we don't take any money out of it. So they're beneficial for fundraising for the school also. So I want to introducing those programs, how important for the children right now, and how beneficial for the schools. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wall.